Hey there everybody, Elizabeth Hines here from Our Paleo Family and the Autoimmune Free Cooking Club. Welcome back to my kitchen. If you are brand new here, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. Thanks for spending a little bit of time with me in my kitchen. A lot of people come here for Instant Pot recipes, which I do a lot of, but we're also doing just easy, quick, weeknight, family-friendly meal ideas that work for people who are following a paleo diet, a keto diet, gluten-free, dairy-free, autoimmune paleo, elimination diet, all that kind of stuff. Basically people who are managing their chronic health conditions with diet and lifestyle. That's what we're doing around here. And tonight we're making lemon chicken piccata. Joining me. If you are brand new, I would love it if you would introduce yourself in the comments. Just tell me who you are, why you're watching. I'd love to get to know you a little bit. We're making lemon chicken piccata. I have 3 boneless, skinless chicken breast halves, and I'm going to cut them in half again and flatten them a little bit. When I just threw that outside of the trash bag. Now I'm going to have to clean it up. That's all right. When I'm cleaning boneless, skinless chicken breasts like this, I typically cut right down where this, like between the main muscle and what would be like the tenderloin if you bought a packet of just tenderloins, because there's sometimes a little, like a piece of cartilage or something there that can be a little bit tough, that might not tenderize with cooking, especially quick cooking, which is usually what you're doing with white meat chicken. So if I just cut my chicken there, it's easy for me to cut that piece out. So this one, so it's just like right there. So I just give it a little, that's where I cut it in half. You can feel it's a little bit tough, and just cut that off. This particular package of chicken is just slightly over 1 pound, which I usually do about 1.5 pounds for my family of 4 now, but this is what I had. So this is what we're gonna have. So let me get my knife away and clean my hands, and I'll be right back. Okay, so lemon chicken piccata, super simple. I am going to turn my burner on. I want it about medium, and we'll see if that starts to get a little too sizzly, and then I'll turn it down. I'm just going to flatten with the flat side of my meat now. You don't need to be precise, just kind of sort of evenly flatten out your chicken. So my hands are clean now, so I'm just going to dip into my salt with that hand. I'm going to sprinkle, so I'm just seasoning the chicken itself. I'm not going to put chicken in my arrowroot, which is my breading. I'm going to flip each piece over. So when you're dealing with your chicken, you're going to have like, I don't know how to describe this, other than to say there's sort of a smooth side and kind of a rough side where you see more of the muscle fibers, and when you're going to pound it out like I just did, it's better to do it on the smooth side, because if you do it on the muscle fiber side, it can tend to kind of rip your meat apart, which we don't want. So I'm about out of pepper. I have more over here, and I just cleaned out my pantry, so I actually know where my pepper is. And it's brand new. So let me think. This recipe will go up mid-July, and I wonder how you're doing. Are you getting out in the world? Are you staying close to home? Are you taking a vacation? Are your kids having camps? I'm just curious. We're in North Carolina, and we have a lot of cases of the virus right now, mid-June. But yet things are opening up, people are wanting to go out, and in my house we're being really cautious, but a lot of other people are not. Our city actually all of a sudden starting today has a must wear a mask rule. You you must wear a mask, although they're not enforcing it, which is silly to me to make a rule that you're not going to enforce. Because our cases are just climbing, so they've said you got to wear a mask if you're out in public and you can't socially distance, like in a grocery store. All right, so as soon as I put that chicken in, you know, I lowered the temperature and it's not sizzling anymore. So I want it to cook. I had about 2, maybe 3 tablespoons. 3 tablespoons is 1/4 cup of arrowroot in my pan. And I'm just trying to get a little coating on my chicken because 1, it will add a nice little texture, but 2, it will help to thicken my sauce. So normally I say, you know, get your meat in the pan and just don't touch it, let it sit there. And I did have to move that around to make space. But ideally, you would get your food in the pan and you would let it just sit, especially with a pan that is not naturally non-stick, like a cast iron or a stainless steel pan. You can basically make it act like a non-stick with the way you cook. So I had my oil in there, which was about 2 tablespoons of butter and a tablespoon of avocado oil. I don't think I told you that. I got it nice and hot, then I added my food, and I'm just going to let my food sit there, and it will like seal across the bottom, and then it won't stick. Okay, so I've been doing sort of a series of cooking basics videos, and this is one of them. It's just a real simple technique that you can use for lots of different types of dishes. Like, for example, say you wanted to make, I'm trying to think, what do I want? If you wanted to make something like fried chicken and gravy, you could use the same process. I would use different flours than just the arrowroot. I would use something that's going to make a more substantial crust on your chicken, but you could, you know, cook it in your pan just like I'm doing, and then remove it just like I'm about to do. Make your gravy, whatever kind of sauce, then put your meat back in and let it kind of marinate, for lack of a better word, in that yummy sauce. That's what we're doing. So because I have boneless, skinless chicken breasts, they are going to cook very quickly. I'm going to get them brown on both sides. I'm going to take them out. I'm going to make a sauce in my pan, and then I'm going to put my chicken back in and let it just simmer away until the chicken is completely cooked through, the sauce is thickened to my liking, and the rest of my dinner is ready. So I have some broccoli on the stove, and I'm actually cooking gluten-free pasta. I was going to do a zucchini pasta, but I just didn't feel like messing with spiralizing my zucchini. So, and actually I need it for Father's Day. We're going to have my oven-fried squash for Father's Day. So I needed to save that. So this one in the center is going to cook much faster than around the edges. It's beautiful brown. It has that nice crust, just like I told you it would. All these others I'm going to turn, just because this little stovetop burner does not cook particularly evenly. What's in the center is going to be cook way faster than what's on the edges. So that little piece of chicken, a big piece of chicken, in the center will be done before the rest. So then my sauce is going to be let me use a bigger one. I love to just mix things up in my measuring cup. A cup of broth. It's totally flexible. You don't even really have to measure. This is a chicken bone broth that I buy at Costco, but it's Pacific Foods brand. You can find this at most grocery stores. It's just a great one because it is full of protein. It has a good flavor. So I need a cup of that, and I need some lemon juice, about 1/4 cup. I've used a whole bunch of lemons, and I just keep that in my fridge. If you want your dish super lemony, you might want more. You might want a little bit less. It's up to you. Capers, which are a flower bud, and they are in sea salt, like a vinegar type And I tend to use that because it adds that little sharp flavor that I like. So there's not a lot of the juice left. Beautiful, just what I want. So I'm going to take that out. Let everybody else take a turn in the middle of the pool. The rest are not done yet, so we'll just do them one at a time. I need a couple tablespoons of my capers and juice. So again, seriously, just pour some in. And that's it. I'm going to put in a little bit of arrowroot because I know I'm going to want it a little, my sauce just to be a little thicker, a little kind of have a creamier texture without cream than what I'm going to get just from the little bit of arrowroot that was on the chicken itself. You don't have to add this in. You can add your liquid and your capers and see kind of what happens in your skillet. And if it gets thick enough for you, you don't need to add the arrowroot. If you want it thicker, you decide, oh yeah, I do want it thicker, just pour a little broth in your measuring cup, add some arrowroot to it, and mix it up there, and then add it in. It's really pretty foolproof. So remember, we seasoned the chicken, and I haven't put in any other salt and pepper because the lemon juice with that tangy quality, it can kind of feel like saltiness, and we don't want it to be overly salty. The butter, I used butter because I love the flavor in this kind of dish. If you wanted to keep it dairy-free, you could use ghee. You could use all oil. I would use like an olive oil, avocado. You could use coconut. You don't want to use a canola or vegetable oil. Those are oils that promote inflammation in your body. But the milk proteins and milk solids in the butter are kind of burning in my pan. So that's why you have the black. But you know what? I don't care. It will taste delicious. I'm going to check on my broth real fast. I left my butter here in case I need to add a little bit more, and my oil. And I am going to add just a teeny bit more. You can also, so you could, again, you could do this with ghee or whatever oil you're cooking in. Some people, when they make a dish like this with a pan sauce, they'll add a little butter at the very end because it tastes really good and adds that creaminess at the end. Alright, because I set the smoke detector off, I'm just going to call it on this portion of the meal. If we ever remodeled our kitchen, I would set it up for my filming, but this house wasn't built for YouTube in the 80s. Alright, so your chicken is browned on both sides. You take it out of the skillet. There will be some yummy sort of browned bits in the bottom, which we want. I'm going to add this and it's going to sizzle, but then it's going to stop. And I hope that doesn't set the smoke detector off again. Once you do that initial deglazing, it'll stop smoking like that. I'll turn my thing off in just a second. Excitement's over, folks. I made a huge mess. Let's see. So normally it doesn't make that big of a mess. I'm doing it on my stove. My smoke detector doesn't go off because I'm not walking away. So there's a little bit of arrowroot in there. I should have shaken it before or stirred it up a little bit before I poured it in there. So before I poured it in my pan. So I'm just going to add a little bit more broth. Try to get all the arrowroot because I want it. I want to bring this up to a boil because once it boils, it'll definitely loosen up any little bits that are on the bottom of the pan. And I also can taste it, but I'm not going to taste it because the chicken juices and the seasoning is all on the outside of my chicken. So I'm not going to taste this until my chicken has been in there for a little while. There we go. All right, up to a boil. So I did put my chicken back in the same pan that I was using to bread my chicken, but it's fine because my chicken's not cooked yet anyway, and it's going back in the pan. So if I were cooking my chicken in the skillet till it was completely cooked through, and then just making a sauce like to pour over the top or something, I would have needed to put my chicken in a clean dish, but that's not what was happening here. So I'll tell you a secret. So I'm going to just turn this down to the point where it's just simmering, and I just want it to simmer until I'm ready to eat. So I've got my other stuff going on the stove, and this needs to simmer until it's cooked all the way through, and I like the way it tastes, so I just want it on low. When I first made this dish, the package of chicken was like a really small package of chicken, and I think maybe my son was supposed to work and he ended up not working or something, and I knew it would not be enough. I had a package of gluten-free chicken nuggets, or maybe they were the chicken tenders, from Whole Foods. They make a really good one from Bell and Evans is the brand that we have here in North Carolina. They're actual like real pieces of chicken. It's not like, like chopped up chicken in the breading. But anyway, so I cooked those real quick. I put them in the microwave, and then I put them in my pan because the breading is getting soft anyway, right? But those particular chicken nuggets are raw. They are not like a pre-cooked chicken. So I wanted to cook them in the microwave most of the way, and then I put them in my pan with my sauce and my other pieces of chicken, and it was delicious. Nobody knew. So if you should happen to run into the same problem, or maybe you only can find chicken nuggets and you can't find whole pieces of chicken, because I know meat has been hard to come by during this whole coronavirus thing, don't worry about it. You could do the same thing with your chicken nuggets. Okay, so I am going to pause, and I'm going to clean up a little bit, get rid of this all raw chickeny stuff, and I'll come back and taste it, and we'll talk about finishing up the dish. Alrighty, so it just started pouring down rain. Sorry about the sound, but I'll just talk really loud. So this has just been 10 minutes, so probably 10 minutes of the prep and everything, at most 15. 10 minutes to simmer, which you could simmer it longer and it would be delicious. It would be totally fine to let it go a little bit longer, or you can say, hey, this is a super fast dish. So 20-30 minutes, or you can take your time and make it take a little bit longer. So I'm going to give it a little taste. I have it just simmering away here, and I just occasionally flipped it. And you know, a lot of people, they say, oh, I don't like capers. Maybe they've never tried capers. What did I just do with my spoon? Here it is. But it's just sort of a weird ingredient, or they think their kids might kind of balk at it and they don't want to use the capers. That's totally fine. They do bring sort of a vinegary, sharp flavor that is kind of unique, and so I say try them if you haven't tried them before. But you could get that with a little bit of some kind of vinegar, whatever kind of vinegar you have in your house that you use, or maybe some Dijon mustard. That would be a good substitute, or you can leave it out altogether. It's delicious without it. Some people like this just a teeny bit sweet with a little honey or a little maple syrup. I don't particularly like that. This just, to me, this is not a sweet dish, which makes it perfect for elimination diets, detoxes, where you're getting off of sugar, that sort of thing. All right, let me give it a taste. It's delicious. It's so good. So I'm serving with this gluten-free pasta. This is my daughter's dish, so I won't give her a lot to start with. She's going to decide how hungry she is based on how much she likes it. I put a little of the lemon juice over top. I have some broccoli that I say is like charred broccoli. I steam it in my pan, and then I take the lid off and I let that water evaporate out to get these little crispy bits on the sides, which we all love. Sometimes I'll put a little coconut aminos in the skillet. which is a paleo version of soy sauce basically. Has a similar flavor profile. That's a coconut product, so it has a natural sweetness to it, so it'll caramelize in the pan, which makes that broccoli super good. So if you have somebody in your house that doesn't particularly love broccoli, this is a great way to make it, and maybe they will learn to love broccoli. And that's it. Lemon chicken piccata is super fast, super easy, feels special. You can serve it to company. Everybody likes it, or most people like it. You know, if you have a vegetarian, you can do the same thing and use mushrooms or like a tofu product. I'm not an expert in those because we're not vegetarians, but I know that you can do the same methods with some of those vegetable protein products. Well, thank you again for tuning in. Again, if you haven't subscribed, I would love it if you would do that. Share this video with your friends. Recommend this channel so we can keep on growing and teaching more people how to cook really delicious food and still stay healthy. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next time.